G'day folks, Jim Langlands here from FX Charts with the currency outlook for the Finance News Network for Friday the 8th of June. It was a day pretty much dominated by news headlines today that pulled the currency markets around one way and then the other, but ultimately leaving them pretty much unchanged from this time yesterday. We started off with the Chinese rate cut, which gave the markets an early boost. And this was followed up by the Spanish bond auction, which went off reasonably well. They sold just over 2 billion euros, albeit at reasonably high rates at 6.05%, I think it was. But it had reasonable demand and was seen as being reasonably successful. France also had an auction, and they sold off some long-term debt, some 50-year debt actually, which they haven't done for a while, which was also well received. Then later in the day, these took the euro a bit higher, 126.25 we got up to, but it's come off since then, partly on Bernanke's testimony. He said the Fed are watching events, but there's no sign of any quantitative easing yet, and so that somewhat disappointed the markets. But then later in the day, Fitch downgraded Spain by 3 notches and ensured that the euro wasn't going to go too much higher. The market does look reasonably short. The euros remained above 125, so it looks like there's some short covering going on. I think the euro would be a fair bit lower if it wasn't for that. And it looks to me though as though the euro might have topped out during the day. A range now of sort of 125, 126 probably for the next few hours at least. The Aussie likewise, that got up to just over parity. It reached parity, saw some good sellers, and is now back down to 98.90 in line with the lower euro. Sterling likewise, that went higher, reached 156. The Bank of England left rates unchanged, as well as the asset purchase program. So cable saw an early boost, but since declined, it's now at 125 and a quarter, 155 and a quarter. Kiwi got to resistance at 77.5. That's back down now at 76.70 though, and I think probably having a fairly quiet session. The yen, that's a little weaker. It got up to 79.80, but it's come back. It's a few points lower than that now at 79.60 at the moment. Once again, reasonably quiet session ahead, I think. There's not an awful lot of data out later in the day either. There's a little bit out of Germany, but not very much out of the States, so I expect a pretty quiet session ahead. The market might do a little bit of squaring up, given the possibility of some news headlines over the weekend and making Monday start possibly a little bit further away from where the markets are at the moment. So that's about it though. If you want a more comprehensive outlook on the market, go to the website as usual, www.fxcharts.com.au. And apart from that, please just remember that, as usual, any outlook here is a personal view only and not meant to be used as trading advice. So that's it. Have a very good long weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Cheers.